I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. 死んだ天性 I was born like this is why immaculate conception. I just perform like this without you. A new weapon, I know.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra! Hey guys, and welcome to What If Tanjiro Was Yoriichi's Reincarnation. Now, I'm not going to go too much of a tangent. I'm just going to let you guys know just to like the video. The like goal for this video is going to be somewhere around 60 likes. If I get 60 likes, I'll release part 2 as soon as possible. And this time I'm serious about it, being consistent. And then after this one, I'm going to do the final part to Naruto, What If Naruto Was Kokushibo's Reincarnation. And I'm also going to do some other stuff too. So let's just get into the story. I said I wouldn't go on a tangent, but I just did. Anyway, so Tanjiro will be born the same way as Yoriichi Sugakuni was born. He would have the Demon Slayer mark, and he would be able to see the transparent world. And the transparent world, if you guys don't know what that means that he can see through people's body, meaning seeing inside them. And basically the transparent world is like he has the ability, it's a weird ability that allows his perception to see people move slower than usual and allows Tanjiro to move faster than usual. You will get it as we go on throughout the story. Now Tanjiro and Kie would feel that Tanjiro is special, being born with the Demon Slayer mark. They wouldn't know about his special eyes yet until Tanjiro grows up later on throughout his life, but they just know that Tanjiro has the Demon Slayer mark on his forehead. The same thing as Yoriichi does. Now, with that, Tanjiro, when he's like, say for example 6 years old, he would often watch his father perform the Hino Kami Kagura. And one day Tanjiro would ask his father, "Hey Dad, can I perform that dance too? I feel like I can do it too. I want to try." Tanjiro, that sounds like a mouthful like that. He would give his son the sword, or the wooden sword that he had and he was practicing with, and Tanjiro would do it perfectly. He would fail once until his father told him about total concentration breathing. Now, let me tell you this. Tanjiro would train his son to a good level to master total concentration breathing. I mean, nothing out of context, seeming as if they're not demon slayers, but he's just training his son to master total concentration breathing and also teaching him about the forms and what the form Hino Kami Kagura is called, what it originally is called, sun breathing. Anyway, so as Tanjiro was going over a lesson about sun breathing and then learning total concentration breathing, that's how his father was learning to do the dance all day long and be doing it for hours and upon hours and hours. And he then asked his father about total concentration constant, and his father would teach him about that too. And I don't doubt that Tanjiro didn't know total concentration constant. I mean, the man could see through the transparent world. Yeah, so the man had inhuman abilities. Anyway, so let's continue on. Now, this is when they were out just strolling and everything, there happened to be this bear that would come up out of nowhere, and the bear is big. This bear is taller than Tanjiro. Now, Tanjiro would look at the bear, and this is where Tanjiro would just watch his father easily kill the bear without hesitation. And Tanjiro would tell his son that this is what the ability to see through the world gives you. And Tanjiro would say, this is where his son would look at him and say, "Dad, how come I can see your organs?" and stuff like that. And Tanjiro would be even more surprised at this. Not only has he been born with the Demon Slayer mark, but Tanjiro has also been born with the gift of the transparent world. Tanjiro would feel that his son is incredible right now and probably is a blessing to save this world from the impending doom that it is going in. So with that, soon after that, Tanjiro would pass away. He would pass away, and this is where Tanjiro and his siblings, would look up to Tanjiro as a father figure. He would be there for him because, he would just have to put himself in that role to make himself stronger as the older sibling to take care of his family. Now, as Tanjiro was getting ready to go out, his siblings would bombard him saying that they wanted to go with him. But the mother told them that they can't, because if they fall asleep, Tanjiro wouldn't be able to carry them. So they would be sad by this, but still want to go, with Tanjiro just telling them, no, just listen to mother. I won't be able to carry you guys if you happen to fall asleep, but I promise I'll read you a bedtime story when I get back. And this is where they say yes. Now, Rokata, I think it was his name, he would be disappointed because he was looking forward to chopping wood that day with Tanjiro. And Tanjiro would just tell him that he promises they will chop wood together. He promises as soon as he gets back. Now, he would bump into Nezuko and they would have the same conversation as in canon. And then they would go their separate ways, with Tanjiro going down to the village and helping people out. Even helping the lady that beat the hell out of the guy that when he told her it was a cat, she didn't believe him. And Tanjiro would sniff the rag and he would say that it happens to be a cat. And the man would cry and say, I told you so. Now, Tanjiro would be helping out the villagers and he would lose track of time with it being nightfall. Now, Tanjiro would start to walk back home and say, oh, Jesus, I lost track of time. I need to hurry and get home. Now, this is where Saburo would open up his window and say, hey, kid, Tanjiro, come stay the night with me until daybreak. And Tanjiro would say, that's okay. I really have to get home to my family. And this is where Saburo said, no, please come stay the night with me. You don't want to be roaming the mountain at night. Demons are out there. Now, Tanjiro would just sigh and say, okay. He would join the man in his home, and this is where Tanjiro would eat, and he would ask the man, why are you so afraid of demons? And he would say, don't ask questions, just eat and get some sleep. Now, Tanjiro would say, okay. He would fall asleep, and the next day, Tanjiro would journey up the mountain, but this time Tanjiro smells blood. And he would rush to his house to see that his whole family has been slaughtered. Tanjiro would be extremely saddened by this, seeing that all his family was slaughtered, except for Nezuko, because he looked in her direction and seen that Nezuko's heart was still beating. He tried to do the same thing to the others, but they were gone. They were dead. So Tanjiro picked up Nezuko and he rushed off with his sister, rushing off, just wondering that he just spent all this time at the house while they were being brutally murdered. Now Nezuko would wake up and then throw her and Tanjiro off the mountain, which the snow would break Tanjiro's fall more because Nezuko is a demon. Now Tanjiro would get back up and he would say, where are you? Now, Tanjiro would have a wooden sword with him. And why I gave him a wooden sword is just something that Tanjiro's father crafted for him so that he could perform the Hino Kamikage. They could perform the Hino Kamikage together. Now, Tanjiro would see Nezuko and she would rush at him with Tanjiro just easily dodging each one of her moves as if she was moving like a snail. She was moving slow. And it wouldn't be hard for Tanjiro to basically get Nezuko down and restrain her. And Nezuko started to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, with that, Tanjiro would just apologize to her, so letting off tears and telling her that he's sorry that they had to endure what they had to go through. And he would just apologize for sleeping in like that while they were being attacked by God knows what. Nezuko would cry doing this, but this is where Tanjiro would feel a presence coming near them, and he would instantly clash blades, which Giyu blades would cut through Tanjiro's wooden sword. Now, Tanjiro's sword would be cut in half, and Giyu would have Nezuko away from Tanjiro, and they both would have a distance apart from each other. Now, this is where Tanjiro would look at Giyu and say, what are you doing with my sister? She's not going to hurt anybody. She won't hurt anybody. And this is where Giyu said, as a demon slayer, I have no choice but to kill her. And Tanjiro says, my sister won't hurt a fly. She will never eat a human being, ever. And this is where Giyu would look at him and say, how do you know that? I will find a way. I will find a way to save my sister and turn her back into a human. Giyu would look at Tanjiro and just study his emotionless face. As Tanjiro, he's in the see-through, so his motions right now, Giyu can't track his presence, but all Tanjiro keeps telling him is that he will make sure that his sister doesn't eat anyone. So Giyu tells Tanjiro that that's a demon. Once a human becomes a demon, that's it. They will be that way forever. And Tanjiro just protests against this and tells him that, no, I don't believe that. I believe you can. There's a cure out there somewhere. And this is where Giyu would look at Tanjiro, and he's about to get ready to kill Nezuko until Tanjiro blitzes right in front of Giyu, snatches Nezuko away, and kicks Giyu back. And this is where he has Nezuko behind him, and Tanjiro has his broken sword in his hand. This is where Tanjiro rushes at Giyu again and hits him with 4 consecutive strikes. 1 to his ribcage, 1 to his leg, 1 to his neck, and that's it. Well, 1 to his neck and then the other to his head. Now, Giyu would be on the ground, knocked unconscious by this, and Tanjiro would just say that, I didn't mean to do that. It was just, this happened off instinct. Tanjiro did this off instinct, like it was just second nature to him. So Tanjiro would just be kneeling on the ground with Nezuko. He would tie a bamboo thing to Nezuko's mouth. And Nezuko and Tanjiro would be standing over Giyu as Giyu gets up. And Tanjiro would apologize for attacking him like that. And this is where Giyu would look at Nezuko as she's just calm. She's not doing really anything. It's really hard to tell if she's a demon or not. So this is where Tanjiro will tell Giyu that, is he okay? And Giyu would just brush it off and say that you have some impressive skill. I never seen anyone you move as fast as you do. I never seen anyone display the level of technique that you do. And this is where Tanjiro would say, I've been trained by my father since I was 6 years old, so I really know how to handle a sword. I mean, even before I turned 6, I felt the urge of knowing how to perform sword techniques if I must. Well, if I ever got into a battle with someone other than like an intruder or a demon. Now Tanjiro would be explaining this to Giyu, and Giyu would tell him that I have a master named Sokonji Urokadaki. I want you to go train with him and like manifest your skills into something strong. I look forward to seeing what you're capable of, Tanjiro. And please keep your promise. If you say that Nezuko won't eat another human, I will stand by your words. Giyu would bow to Tanjiro, and he would tell Tanjiro that everything's fine and not to take what he did to heart. So Giyu would disappear, and Tanjiro would make his way to basically go find Urokadaki. Now this is where Tanjiro would journey to Sakura Mountain, and he would hide Nezuko in a cave so she doesn't get burned by the sunlight. Now Tanjiro would journey to a farm to get some bamboo, a basket, and some straw to weave up a basket for Nezuko to hide in. And this is where he told the guy that he wanted to pay him, and the guy said, no, it's free. Well, then Tanjiro hit him with a counter offer and say, well, then use it to get your family some food and stuff. And the man would say, are you sure? And Tanjiro would say, calmly comply and say, yes, I'm sure. Give the man the money, and Tanjiro would go back to the cave. Now Tanjiro and Nezuko would journey up to Perilous Mountain, where people keep disappearing. Now Tanjiro would smell blood, and he would open the door to see that it's a demon in there, and the people that were there were already killed. Now Tanjiro would just sigh at this and tell the demon that, where do you get off doing this? The demon would just grab his head right now, as he just feels this overwhelming fear. And it's not him feeling this fear, because he questions himself. What? I don't even know who this guy is. Why am I scared? No, this can't be. These are not my memories. I don't even know who this is. This is Lord Muzan's memories. And he would just see that this guy walking towards Muzan saying, where do you get off killing people? Why do you take life as a tool to take it from others? Who put you on a pedestal that is so high that you can just trample over people as if you're a god? Now this is where Tanjiro would rush at the demon with his half sword, and he would say, first form, dance, in a vertical slash, hitting the demon, cutting its arm off. Sorry about that. Now the demon would jump back from Tanjiro, and then Tanjiro would just raise his sword at the demon, and he would say, answer me. Why did you kill these people? What did they ever do to you? Tanjiro's eyes would just be filled, just look at him in Tanjiro's transparent state. Well, he's not showing emotions right now, but you can feel the anger off of Tanjiro. You can feel that he's looking at this demon with no happiness in his body. And that calm nature about Tanjiro is what's giving that demon chills. Now, Tanjiro looks at him and he says, total concentration breathing. And he rushes at the demon and says sixth form, solar heat haze, and cuts the demon's head right off. Now, Tanjiro notices that this blade won't be able to kill the demon because he needs a Nichirin blade. So then Tanjiro grabs a rock and he says, "May your next life be as peaceful." Now he smashes the demon's head in on the ground over and over as Tanjiro's hand is stained with blood. Now he looks at Nezuko, who's in the house, and she just turns away with Tanjiro smiling at her as he goes into the house and buries the people that were killed by the demon. He prays over the grave only to notice that a presence has approached behind him. Now Tanjiro looks behind him and he sees that this guy is weird. He's wearing a red mask or something like that. And Tanjiro says, "Who are you supposed to be?" And this is where Sakonji Orokodaki introduces himself and says, "Are you the one that Giyu sent my way?" And Tanjiro would say, "Oh, so you're Giyu's master. Wow, you're incredibly strong for a former Hashira." And this is where Orokodaki would say, "So you buried the people that were killed by that demon and you executed him even though you didn't have a Nichirin blade. I had to beat his head in bluntly, given the fact that I didn't want to do that, but it needed to be done." Now, Sakonji would ask him a question. "What would you do if your sister eats another human?" "Well, she's not going to eat another human. That's my goal. I will make sure that she does not eat another person. But if she happens to do so, which she won't because my skills far exceed my sister's, I will commit simpu. I will kill myself with the exception of you and Giyu killing yourself as well. Giyu is a Hashira and he let me go, giving the fact that he had good faith in me and Nezuko. And he had really good faith in her not eating anybody. You, on the other hand, has good faith in me because you want to. Well, basically, you accepted Giyu, offer to train me. Anyway, that's my answer." Now, Orokodaki would look at Tanjiro and he would say, "Good." Seeming as if you have the viewpoint of what you need to do if in worst case scenario that does happen. Now, they would journey off running to Orokodaki's house. Now, Orokodaki would have to look behind him a few times looking to see if Tanjiro is even there. For story's sake, I'm just going to keep calling him Sakonji. Orokodaki is just... So I'm just going to call him Sakonji. Now, with that, Tanjiro was easily able to keep up with Sakonji. Now, they would arrive at the house and Tanjiro said, "Did I pass the test?" And Sakonji would say, "No, this is not the test yet." Now, they would journey up a mountain to which, Nezuko would still be in the house because they left her behind. And this is where they would be at the mountain and Sakonji would look at Tanjiro and say, "You have to get down this mountain by dawn." And then he disappeared. Now, Tanjiro would notice that the air up here is very thin, but Tanjiro has already mastered total concentration breathing and total concentration constant. So Tanjiro just easily gets down the mountain. Dodging the traps that were there, Tanjiro's sense of smell was good, and seeing through the transparent world, the objects that were presented his way. Now, this part right here, I don't really think that none of the traps would get Tanjiro like that. I mean, say for example, if you want to push it and say that one or two traps got him, that would be it, because Tanjiro, with Yoriichi's abilities, say for example, he's a reincarnation of this guy. I don't really think that any traps on the mountain would even get to him. So let's not go over that too much. Tanjiro get down the mountain with no damage at all. And Orokodaki would be shocked by this. And I said I wouldn't say that in Sakonji. Jeez. Now this is where Tanjiro's training would begin. He would be going up and down the mountain learning to carry a sword, which Tanjiro would find boring because the mountain is basically easy for him to get down, because it only takes him a minute to get up and down the mountain. Yeah, Tanjiro is just that fast. Now, with that, I'm not saying he's superhumanly fast or something like that. It just takes him with the way he moves. Yes, he's fast. Anyway, so with that, Tanjiro starts his training and all that other good stuff. Now, Sakonji really doesn't have anything else to teach teach Tanjiro, so he brings Tanjiro to a boulder, and this is where he noticed that Tanjiro's moves are incredible, because as Orokodaki was training him, fuck it, I'm just gonna say Orokodaki. You hear me saying Orokodaki, or you hear me saying Tanjiro? Yeah, I'm just gonna say both of those names, because for some reason my brain keeps saying Orokodaki, so I guess we just gonna go with Orokodaki then, brain. Anyway, so Sakonji knows that Tanjiro's skills and he knows his skills are very good. Well, very impressive, because he's beat him in a sword fight without even trying. And he's a well-seasoned Hashira, and Tanjiro's skill is above his. That's incredible. So Sakonji makes 3 boulders. 3 big-ass boulders for Tanjiro to cut in half, and he easily does so. Sakonji really didn't want Tanjiro to go to final selection because he fears that Tanjiro might die in final selection, and he just doesn't want to lose another student. Tanjiro assures Sakonji that he's not going to die and he's going to come back. Now, this is where they journey back, and he notices that Nezuko is still asleep. She's not awake yet, but Tanjiro has good faith that she might wake up because he looks into her body and sees that her heart is still beating. So Tanjiro journeys off with Urokodaki giving him the fox mask and giving him a sword, to which Tanjiro journeys to final selection. Now, when Tanjiro arrives there, he notices that this girl and this boy greeted him. Now, Tanjiro journeys through this hysteria field, and it looks very relaxing to be in. Now, with the 2 demons that really tried to fight Tanjiro, they really wouldn't have a good time. Now, Tanjiro would say, Dragon Sun, Halo Dance, 9th form. And it's a series of quick flowing slashes that take the form of a dragon, killing the 2 demons easily. Now, this was an attack I used basically just to kill 2 people at once. Now, anyway, now we get to the demon that killed all 13 of Urokodaki's students. And Tanjiro basically used 6th form, Solar Heat Haze. He basically was dodging all the demon's hands and everything because the demon was moving slow, because Tanjiro could see in a transparent world. And as the demon was moving slow, Tanjiro jumped up and he cut the demon's head off using 6th form, Solar Heat Haze, Sun Breathing. And he landed back on the ground. Now, this is where Tanjiro would look at the demon, but he's showing his face is basically just sad. The demon can't feel anything from him because he's in a transparent world, but once Tanjiro grabs the demon's hand, he felt all the emotions of the boy just flood into him, and he just started crying. He probably just wanted something different from this life. Now, Tanjiro would pass final selection, going to there and noticing that other people are there with them. Now, this one guy, Kyogakai? I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I blotched it. I'm sorry. Now, listen. They would be at the field and everything would pass with that, with Tanjiro still breaking the guy's arm and everything. So yeah. Now Tanjiro would casually walk back because he didn't sustain any damage or nothing like that in the final selection. So he would just casually walk back, with him seeing that the door is kicked open and Nezuko comes walking out, and she runs to Tanjiro and the both of them hug, with Urokodaki just dropping the wood, shocked. 13 students and this 14th one survived. Urokodaki would just break down crying, tears falling out his eyes as Tanjiro came back. He's happy about that. Now, Tanjiro will be a full-fledged Demon Slayer now. Now, with that, Tanjiro did get past early, but I'm just going to keep it with the story saying that at the same time he managed to get where Zenitsu now, yeah. So it's just up to story parts. It's up to the story time length. Anyway. So as Tanjiro is waiting for his sword, he sees this guy coming with these candle-like, glass-like things hanging from his hat. And he tells him that he's Tanjiro Kamado, and they journey in. But he also noticed that Tanjiro has red eyes and this long red hair, similar to Yoriichi's hairstyle. Now Tanjiro would be in there kneeling down, and this is where he would unsheath his sword. Now the sword would turn black, but then it would have this red flame-like pattern on the edge of the sword. Now, this is where Tanjiro would be like, wow, so this is interesting. Now, the guy would be ecstatic by this. Even though the blade didn't turn a full crimson red, it still turned red nonetheless, somewhat. Now, with that, Tanjiro would achieve his blade, and then he would start going on his missions. Now, Urokodaki would tell Tanjiro, do you want me to cut your hair? And Tanjiro would say no, that I like it this way. And he would go on missions. Now, there's a bunch of missions that I do want to say that are meaning to the story. Some of them are not meaning to the story or stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into some of the side missions that Tanjiro went on before he reached the main mission. Now, the demon that was kidnapping people, called the Swamp Demon, Tanjiro would easily handle him. He wouldn't even be that hard to counter. Even when his 3 bodies came up, Tanjiro would say, Sun Breathing, 9th form, Dragon Sun Halo Dance. and kill all 3 of those demons easily. Now we get to the part to where Tanjiro goes to the goes into this basically building, and he sees the drum demon. Basically, Zenitsu and the other guy had to handle the tongue demon, and they killed him easily. And I'm also going to change Zenitsu's personality style, similar down, just tone it down a little bit. So when Zenitsu gets cornered, he starts from crying, and then he gets into this state to where he just says, "Get out my way." I mean, he's still in his normal Zenitsu state, but he gets into a state to where he says, first form. I forgot his first form. He would get into his stance. He would say, thunder breathing, first form, thunder clap and flash, and cut the demon's head off fast. Sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, so with that happening, they would get past the battle with them being in there. And Tanjiro would comment on the guy having an impressive music style with his drums. And for once, the demon would shed tears, being able to die in peace. Finally, someone noticed his art. Someone congratulated his art. And that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. Anyway, with that being said, now, Tanjiro would journey to this city called Sakaza, the Sakaza arc, and this is where Tanjiro would just be on a bench with Nezuko, and he would just smell. This smell would be reminiscent to him like, I know who this is. Tanjiro would just rush through the city with his sword in his hand, and then he would grab the guy by the shoulder. Tanjiro wouldn't say anything in this situation right here. He would let off a slash to the guy's back, but Tanjiro would be shocked by this because the guy would turn around with an angry scowl at him, but then he would be filled with so much fear, as Tanjiro would look just like Yoriichi Sugakuni. And this is where Muzan is like, he just throws the child at the girl and he runs off saying that he needs to get out of here right now, as he's turning multiple people into a demon. He's turning so many people into a demon just to escape, and Tanjiro is having to battle each and every one of them. Now, Tanjiro really doesn't want to kill these people, but he has no choice. They become a demon and they start attacking people, and he really can't focus on them too much, as Tanjiro just yells out, sun breathing, fourth form, burning bone summer sun, as he lets off this large scale circular forward slash, killing some of the demons that Muzan transformed. Now, Muzan would just disappear with Tanjiro losing trace of where he went, and Tanjiro would just say, damn it! And he would hit his fist into the ground. Tanjiro was right there, but he let himself get too angry. Tanjiro felt like he escaped the transparent world, but then he just entered right back into it and calmed his mind, saying, this guy. Now, Tanjiro would go back to where his sister was, and he would apologize for leaving her like that, saying that he needed to handle something, and the guy that killed their family just got away. Now, Muzan would feel the slash on his back, but he would be filled with so much anger right now that he would clench his fist, and he would call the upper moon meeting. Then he would give a blood portion to each and every one of the upper moons, making them stronger than what they already were, so that they would be able to hold a combatant battle against Tanjiro if he were to just basically come up on them. So yes, Muzan made them stronger than they already were. Now, with all the commotion, Tamayo and Yushiro would come out and basically she would use her blood to calm down the situation as best as she could. And this is where Tamayo and Tanjiro would get into a conversation with each other, and she would come up with the idea that she wants to study. She broke the curse to Muzan, and she wants to study demons, and want to basically devise an antidote to basically cure demons and bring them back to human. But she also wants to study the upper moon demons, the stronger ones. So their blood would be heavily useful if Tanjiro can manage to gather some. Now, Muzan did order that the Tamari demon and the arrow demon to basically handle Tanjiro, but Tanjiro would have easily got rid of them. Now, Tanjiro would have basically killed the arrow demon, and he would have killed the what's named Tamari demon. But they would have peaceful deaths. Now, Tanjiro's he would use his third form, Raging Sun, 2 horizontal slashes. But he would do it in a peaceful way, so that they wouldn't feel as much pain. Now, as they died, the Tamari demon would always ask Tanjiro to play with her, and Tanjiro would just say that you're nothing but a kid, believing that you are 12 Kizuki. That's sad. This guy has no remorse, given the ability to have so much power, and that he's using it for destruction. Now, this is where I'm going to end the video at, you guys. Let me know in the comments, do you want a part 2? Because part 2 is going to get lit. Now, the like goal for this video is going to be 60 likes. If we reach 60 likes, I promise you I'll have part 2 out as soon as possible. Without any further ado, you have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.